Let's make the simplest ASP.NetCore web application. We'll start off by opening Visual Studio 2019. We'll create a new project. We'll choose ASP.NetCore web application and choose next, and then we'll call that for example, and I'll put it in a very simple location, make it nice and easy to find. So we click create. I'm going to make the simplest possible, empty. It's not that empty actually, but it does actually do something which we'll find out about. So I've just clicked create. That'll take a while to produce that web app, and then we can simply run it on IIS, which is the local server, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So the browser starts up and we need to go through some security here, accept the risk and continue. And so we simply have hello world being produced. We can take a look at the server which is running down here, see what we've got running on at the moment. As I might have mentioned before, this is the local server, which is really just for testing out our web. So we're not sending it off to the internet, we're just sending it off to a server which is on our computer, just for development and experimental purposes. So let's take a look and see what we've got here, what we've just built. We've got here, this is the main starting point here, the program file. Basically all that does is calls another file, which use the startup file, which is this particular file here. So let's see what's inside there. We've got two things here which are important, which is the configure and the configure services. Now services, we haven't got any at the moment, but services are programs which are on the server. We might want to call them and do something for us, like for example get the date or something like that. But this is the important one at the moment, the configure. This is just about error handling, but use routing, we'll talk about that later. That's when we've got what we call controllers, and the URL is parsed, shall we say, through the router. But we'll talk about that later. At the moment we can see that the main bit here, response. Now what we've got is we've sent off instructions, a command if you like, a request is a better way of saying it, to the server, and the server's come back and said, would you please write this onto would you render this please onto your browser, which is the local host, local client, and we ultimately get hello world. So that's basically how it works.